Call the meeting to order, the Walpole Sewer and Water Commission, today on May 8th, 2023, 6:30 PM at the Delaney Treatment Plant. We have an agenda posted for today, and the first item on the agenda is the approval of minutes from October 24th.
Mr. Chairman, I have one small correction. The first page of October 24th, I was absent, but in the vote list, my name is there in the end of the page.
Yeah, the 502 North Street bill dispute should be my name, not Pradeep's.
Okay. So we see that in the bottom of the page? The yes vote is not yours.
It's not mine. I was absent.
And that should be Jeff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And on the second page at the end, there's a seconded by John Abbott, which I spoke to Barbara earlier.
I changed that today.
Okay, and that, just, since the text is there, the Appleby property on page 2, maybe I could ask the commission, that gentleman from Optimum Hospitality, Mr. Waluka, asked if we could give him a brief appointment at our next meeting. He wants to explain something to us about that project. Is that acceptable to the board?
Sure.
Okay.
What was that? One more time, John?
The Appleby 990 Providence Highway project,
Yeah.
that gentleman called, he said he would like to come into our next meeting and explain what's going on with the project.
Is there anything new?
No, I suspect he's going to probably tell us, he wants you to give you $5 million if you can hook up to water. I don't know.
Is it $5 million for each of us?
No, I don't know. I didn't ask him to elaborate. I said I certainly would ask the board to give him that courtesy, so I'll let him know. We'll
Yeah,
put him
I
on
mean,
the agenda.
If it's reviewing the same set of plans we already saw, I'm not
Well, I think
really-
there's something new, but I don't know what it is.
I assume there's something new. I don't know that he'll like my answer, but
Yeah,
happy to.
okay, thank you. So is there a motion to accept the minutes with the amendments?
I make a motion, we accept the minutes of October 24th,
Second?
as amended, by the way.
As amended.
Okay.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? 500. Then we have a status report from Scott Gustafson.
There's another November
Oh, well,
21st.
okay, we have
I
another
didn't
one.
see anything there, but if in case somebody else caught something.
Where's something?
November 21st.
November 21st.
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes of November 21st.
I seconded.
Okay. Moved by Bill, seconded by Pardeep. All in favor?
Can I say something first?
Sure.
It's very difficult to remember back this far, and I can't I'm going to abstain, just to let you know why I'm abstaining. It's just I do not remember, I don't recall some of this stuff. Okay. Sorry, go ahead.
No, well,
Yeah, I think going forward, we should be pretty current.
Yeah.
yeah, we like to get the minutes, I guess, closer up to date so we can have a memory recall. Okay, all in favor of that, accepting the minutes?
Aye.
Aye. And one
Abstain.
abstain, okay. 401. Thank you for that. All right, now, we have the superintendent's update.
Certainly. So since the last meeting, We've had a minor service leak on Walcott Ave on the 26th. Other than that, there's been no leaks, so we've been good in that respect. The water main replacement project's still going forward. They're still on South Street. We have the middle segment complete from the culvert, working up towards actually at the substation. It's been pressure tested and disinfected. We got to collect samples most likely tomorrow for that. That segment up to Oak Street will be the last one. It's expected to be done this Friday, and they'll tie the service and everything over. And hopefully South Street will be completed in the first week of June. Once that's complete, they're going to move over to Rhodes Ave. The water main's already in place, and they'll move the services over to that one. That's the routine tasks and maintenance.
Scott, is the pH still around 7.5?
No.
What is it now?
It's about 8.3 to 8.5.
And it's been holding there?
Yes. And that's part of our corrosion control program to meet lead and copper guidelines.
Okay. And it hasn't been tipping or anything?
No.
You're going to do all of Rhodes Ave?
The water main is in place. It's been
Yeah, I
disinfected,
know.
tested. And once they're done with South Street, they're going to go back and move all the surfaces over to it.
Will you then, will that be repaved by DPW, do you think? or-
Everything's going to get repaved.
Okay. So that's it for the report on the superintendent. So we have planning board request on Cassage Walpole LLC, which is a solar project. The viewing audience may be familiar. This has been discussed and bantered around various committees in town. What do we have on that, Scott?
We have a report that was just submitted, so if anybody wants to take a look at it, this binder.
The property is at 1377 North Street, Walpole, which is agriculture high school solar project.
Right.
They want comments prior to May 18th.
I don't know that there's any water or sewer issues. It's not in an aquifer,
It's not.
so unless anybody hasn't, I would make a motion, we send a note to the planning board that we have no comments on the project since there's no town water or sewer involved.
I get a question, I don't know who can answer, maybe you, Scott. How does this, if it all does, benefits the town of Walpole? I know we get a $2,000 fee for it, but otherwise, how does this, do we get a share of this? Because there's a lot of legalese in here I was looking at. and
Yeah.
I don't quite understand.
I'm not sure. It might be in the report that was just submitted, but I don't have that information for you as far as
All
what
right,
our
I'd
benefit
like
will
to
be.
just to find out and this, it's just for my own edification and for the people at home,
Right.
if this is going to help the town with some type of income. Okay.
Understand?
I could tell you, Patrick, that what happens, the infrastructure that's installed gets assessed and they pay taxes on it.
Uh-huh.
And typically, the investment companies, they do what they call a pilot program with the town, where they negotiate a stream of tax payments to meet their financing model. They front end some of it, and then they peter it down and then load it back up at the end. So the town does get tax revenue
From the infrastructure.
from the solar array itself.
Of course, that generates another question. If we get revenue from that property, do we get revenue from, let's say, Eversource, because they have poles on the street? They have light poles and electric poles, and that's infrastructure. Do we get anything from that? And especially, you see the high tension lines going through our town. I wonder if we get any kind
All that
of
stuff gets assessed.
money for that.
See, if we were a public utilities commission, that would be within our domain.
No, this is
Gas
just asking.
companies and electric
Just
companies.
asking, that's all.
They get assessed.
Yes.
And so we do have, we get tax
Edison
revenue?
gets assessed and Eversource gets assessed. We don't see that money, but that gets assessed.
I'm just curious.
The town.
We do see the money because our taxes are lower, right?
No, I'm talking about the Sewer and Water Commission.
No, we don't.
Now, contrary, if we had property, as Pradeep has requested, that generates solar, then we would get the rent revenues from that property. The town would still get the tax assessment on the infrastructure, on the equipment itself.
And we would be liable for paying the taxes?
No,
commission?
no, the solar company would pay the taxes.
No, I'm saying if
And they
we-
would pay us a rent.
If we put up a solar panels in, let's say, Jarvis Farm, okay? And we generated X amount of money. Now, since the commission really owns that, do we have to pay taxes to the town on those solar panels because it's infrastructure that's taxable?
No, it's like the town, when the town has solar on its property, the developer and the solar company, they assess the equipment. It's like the equipment in a factory building. They assess the property, the equipment, the machinery. In this case, the solar panels gets assessed, and they pay taxes on that, not on the land. The land, if it's privately owned land, the taxpayers pays the taxes, and the solar company pays them rent. In our case, they would pay us rent. We would get the rent, the town would get the revenue on the equipment from the
Okay.
assessor's office. So, but we would get income from solar on sewer and water property if they put an array in. Just, all right, I don't know what, anyway. But that was a good idea by Pradeep, and I hope we could continue to explore that.
Yeah, 5 megawatt is a huge amount. If you just consider it's equivalent to powering almost 100 house. So 100 house, if you take 1,200, it's like $12,000 of annual income. And even if you're paying a property tax of $1,200, there's still $10,000 income is coming to, or saving is coming to Norfolk Country Agriculture School in their 5 megawatt plant. And that's just a rough number. Even if there's a property tax, that will be very less than what the amount of money you make from generating electricity.
Well, again, I would just say for viewers, the conundrum to some people who oppose the project that's by Kearsarge on Norfolk Aggie School land was exactly that. They were asking, the Aggie already has enough solar to cover all its electric. They actually make money on the solar they have. So this project is for profit. They pay Walpole no taxes for the land because they're supposedly tax exempt as a nonprofit school. But they charge rent to Kearsarge for the property, so it's a profit-making deal for Norfolk County, which some people questioned as well. Why is government doing that? But we have nothing to do with that particular situation, I guess. All right, so was that a vote, or were we just going to say,
I just made a motion, I don't know
Yeah.
if it was seconded.
Bill
Repeat the
Bill wanted,
motion.
The motion was that we send a note to the planning board that we have no comment as it does not get town water or sewer.
okay, moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, 500. Okay. Now we have correspondence. Bruins Way definitive subdivision plan.
I think this is a read and noted. They're just informing us that the planning board has issued its decision.
This development was actually on your last meeting agenda. 965 West Street.
Do you have the plan?
We do. This, they're gonna be using private wells and on-site septic, so no water or sewer.
Yeah, but I understand there's a lot of wetlands on there, so where exactly are they building in relation to the wetland?
Say again, Scott, they're going on wells?
They're gonna have private wells, and they'll be on private septic. They're not gonna be tying into Walpole sewer or water. This was on the agenda last meeting.
What was the reason
Yeah,
for that? I don't understand that.
Just
Cheaper?
for them,
Yeah,
I imagine would be.
Oh, yeah.
okay.
But the area, I mean, with Bird Machine and all the nickel and all the
Yeah,
stuff in the ground, oh my God. It's unbelievable to me. And I know, where's the Board of Health and the Conservation Commission on a deal like that?
is your comment that is that they might be better served to be on
There's been no
municipal water?
industry out, I mean, that's down off of West Street as you're heading towards the prisons. There's no industry that's been there. I mean, the issue is Jeff's looking at there's wetlands.
It's all
protected.
wetlands.
Yeah,
We're being
And
asked for
there's no
comments on
sewer.
the building.
yeah.
So they'll have to
Well,
pass title
and
regulations
the issue
by-
is, it's all been addressed by the planning board, and they've come with their decision. So that's why I'm saying it's a red noted. There's nothing that we can do act
Oh, I'm
on.
thinking of a different project.
Yeah.
No, 965 is the house with the nursery connected. to
Yeah,
it.
yeah, it goes
Oh,
right in the back.
I'm
there.
thinking of something else
Yeah,
completely.
there's
yeah.
no,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's, you got plenty of land. The house has got 14 acres or something. so.
Yeah, but where the existing house is, there's very little wetlands where the existing house is. It's all in where the new development is I guess my concern. Where the new road is going in Bruins Way, and where the proposed building project on lot, in this designated as Lot 1, which is the new lot. It's 164,000 square feet. 102,000 of it is wetlands. So that's my comment.
Okay. Does anybody else have any comments? Yeah, I guess we did discuss that. I remember discussing it last meeting. Okay, we'll just red noted. Weston and Sampson, a bi-monthly project update.
I have a question, Mr. Chairman, on that. And my question is, on this bi-monthly project update, it says under 2C, draft memo to be completed first week of May. Is this the draft memo? Or are we still waiting for the draft memo?
Yeah,
I think
this would not be.
this wouldn't be it.
This is just the project update. And the draft memo, I don't have a copy of that yet.
Did we get one?
I have not received it.
Okay, so we don't have that yet.
the only comment I had, and I spoke to Rick about it, was they have a construction estimated time. It just seemed like a extremely long
Yeah,
time for bidding and construction. I asked, well,
2 years.
what are we constructing? It seemed to me that it would be a pump station and a meter, so we would know how much water we were getting, and a pump, if necessary, to get the water into Walpole. And he didn't have an answer to it, so.
Yeah, Scott, I don't, also hydraulic analysis. I mean, 7 months. What kind of hydraulic analysis?
I believe it's two different, MWA system and Norwood system. So there's two different water systems that are.
Yeah. One's H2O and the other one's H2O.
Two
It's
different
elevations and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
isn't it,
Phil,
Does seem-
really? Really?
I
It's
would
more than one
assume.
analysis. It's
That's
not
one
just-
day an engineer in the field. I don't know what the 7
mean,
months is.
I suspect
There's
they
more than
have a model of these two systems, just like we have, Wright Pierce has a model of our system, and it's just you plug in, okay, this is what's coming, does seem extensive.
You've got, you know what's analysis, MWRA's analysis, and then Walpole's analysis. I think that's what you're seeing at the time.
I'm sorry. Walpole already has an analysis.
Well, the difference
And
would be is we'd be
Norwood already,
getting a million
Norwood already
gallons.
has analysis. So we have to take the two pieces of paper, put them together.
Well, there is a new item that would have to be, and they have these models. It should not take a whole lot of time, but you now, from Norwood's standpoint, there's a million gallons passing through their system. From our standpoint, you got a million gallons all of a sudden is coming up like Union Street or whatever that isn't there, and how that impacts the system. But again, Wright Pierce has our model, and they just plug in, okay, there's now water coming in from that direction, and, you know, I can see why you might need to look at all three, but it shouldn't take a whole lot amount of time.
Yeah, it's the same water that's coming through Norwood that's always come through Norwood.
Yeah, but right now, you're having a million gallons flowing out of.
Oh, my goodness. It's bull,
Well, it's-
frankly. In 7 months.
Timing is
we're-
important.
Yeah, well, here's what's wrong with it. Whoever's doing this, they say they won't wait to do any application with the MDR until all this is done. And they're kicking the can down the road, and they're making up all these projects that take months and months and months. By the time they apply the MWA, 8 other towns will be in there in front of us. We'll never get, this is the way you kill a deal. I'm not happy with this.
Scott, it's also got town meeting now out a year. I think we were planning on going before town meeting next fall.
Well, that's something the schedule could be tightened up. I believe at the last meeting that was mentioned as well. We had concerns about how long the schedule was.
Well-
Yeah, that was my concern. It still is. And I don't, you know, it's not even, we already have the authority to apply. The town meeting will come involved once we have the facts and we bring the proposal to them with all the finished product. And they can vote on it and analyze it. So I'm not waiting for the town meeting for anything. I want the MDRA to know we're serious and we're working on this and we're applying. And we're doing all the steps.
Towns have already come in, at least one I know of, and that's Burlington.
They came before the entrance fee.
But now they've taken,
Yeah, they've actually, they got the okay, and so now they're actually taking, I'm
so
surprised.
availability has shrunk already.
Yeah,
Well, if Natick and Weymouth come forward, they'll come like grease lightning and they'll be in there.
yeah, do we know that Weymouth, I know that they had talked about wanting to get out of the business of, producing their own water.
So,
Anyways,
I mean, yeah, well, so we'd like to see that, again, Scott, Rick kind of does these things. I mean, we asked to see the person every other meeting. And now we're not seeing it, now we're just waiting for reports, and we're trying to figure which monthly report to be able to ask the questions.
Do you have specific questions for the engineer as far as the schedule?
I think we need
We
somebody
want
to come in
to,
there.
well, my instructions to her were that we want to get in front of the MWA with an application so they know we're applying and backfill all these studies and the administrative red tape, so to speak.
They at least should know that.
Let's see what we can do.
They
I
do.
mean, everything seems, this plan just seems to be very sequential. What can we do in parallel? I mean, there's got to be,
Can we call them to, do some presentation in fall meeting, town meeting? Although they may take more time, but I see that from their planning point of view, they're going to town meeting in spring 2024. That's
Yeah.
too late.
But
is.
something, if you're going to request that they appear before the board, maybe that can be brought up to them directly.
Yeah, so the idea is to basically at least provide preliminary reports to the town meeting in fall, whether or not we go for voting in spring 2024. So that will help to at least people to make up their mind and ask questions.
Well,
I would think that the...
We don't want premature making up with our mind.
Yeah, no,
I don't want the town meeting, I mean, the town meeting's just gonna have a ton of questions, and they'll get them answered when we have the facts. But when you're doing something like this, if you don't get in the queue, you're not gonna get the deal. This is the way, I've been in government 30 years. I worked at I was on the 24th floor of the Salt and Salt Building, top government office. I know how the state government works. This is not the way to get this done. This is dragging this out and kicking it down the road. I don't know what to say. So,
we should request them to come next meeting and...
listen, we put in a recreation park. How fast did it take them to put in the sewer line that we didn't approve, Mr. Fasenelli?
Nobody knows because they never told us, but it
It
was
was
done
very
very
fast.
quickly.
Did they do the hydraulic studies?
We didn't see it.
Where was the time chart on this? When did they do the environmental policy on that line? I don't know. I mean,
Scott,
this is-
do you have any answers to that?
I do not.
So have we decided that we would like to have the representative from Weston Sampson come in at our next meeting? I mean, if that's what we want, we'd like to, Barbara, if you can arrange that.
Yeah, and just remind the parties that are interested, we had agreed that she was going to come in at every other meeting and fill us in and show progress. It's not good enough to just send a memo every couple meetings and put a time chart on it. You know. So, I know what we're going to get next, interbasin transfer. What do you know about that? Steve, what do you know about that?
When you move water between water basins.
Yeah, but,
I know a little bit about that.
so that's an application to be started right away, right? Because that's another government agency,
Water Resource Commission.
MIPA.
No, well, if for Burlington and Ashland, the document that came from the Water Resource Commission, which talked about the intra-basin transfer, was like 30 pages with charts and whatever. And I think that should be able to get started sooner, because they know what we have, or certainly can find out what we have. Doesn't seem that you would have to wait, but it's not a trivial item, you know, but...
No, but the MWA knows what their basin metrics are.
The thing is, you're
and-
taking water from the Quabbin, which is in one basin, bringing it into the Neponset River Basin, which is what Canton, Dedham, Walpole are in, and you're taking water from one to another, and that's what they're talking about.
But I think what you're not thinking about is that when Quabbin was built,
Right.
they're exempt
From what?
from interbasin transfer.
Well, then...
Because don't forget now, the whole thing was made on purpose for the city of Boston and its metropolitan
And
area.
I don't think when they built it that they even considered the issue of but I can tell you...
I don't think
that
they had interbasin transfers
No.
then.
And-
But
and-
I'm saying, that is stare decisis, it's done, it's in the past, they do it, and they bring millions of gallons of water
I
across.
understand, Pat. But
there's
they
no
will
permit.
produce a report.
What?
The Water Resource Commission will produce a report, and anybody who's connecting to the system.
But what are you saying though?
I'm just saying it's something, one, that it's not a trivial item, because it produces, a substantial report, but at the same time, I think that the information is already available, that they could start
If they're-
producing that report.
I'm sure that, the government loves to make reports. They may make them, but as far as obtaining permission and stuff like that,
Yes.
Are you saying that would be
Operations
prohibited
Policy
from-
10 that the MWA has, that's one of the things. There's a list of things, and I'm surprised, Pat, that you're not aware of them.
I am aware of it.
All right, then we're on
That
the same
we're
page.
exempt. That's what I'm
And
aware
so
of.
Burlington and Ashland had this thing done for what reason? Anyways, regardless.
No, these just for the commission I guess if you look at the chart, the attachment one, the timelines, we have to get our consultant to tighten these up and to explain to us the staggering of activity and the length of the entire process. Because we would certainly like to know in the fall that we've put some paperwork of application in front of the MWRA, and they know that we're completing inter-basin requests and also finishing up hydraulic whatevers. So, you know, this is something I think the people want to do. And and I'll just take the time. I know people are in a hurry, but this is the future of Walpole. If we don't do this 70 years from now, they're not going to have water. You're not going to be able to get water here. This is going to allow us to extend our current wells, to maintain them, to redevelop around them, and to have supplemental water, to have redundancy, to have resiliency, to have sustainability in water supply for the next 20, 50, 70 years. And it's the only thing available. And when they shut the door on the MWRA, we're done. There's nothing else. So this isn't just a little dance. And I wish we had more interest in this, as far as moving the ball down the field with our agents. You know. So that's my comment. Anybody else? Okay. We have revenue numbers. Number 3.
So,
28, 34, 29.
can we just look at
Are we actual, we're pretty much in line?
For
We're in
what?
good shape.
overall budget we are, but I just got a couple of comments. Bill, the miscellaneous revenue, we're 165K over. Where's that coming from? On the water side.
On the water side, we would have to look to get the
Any
detail.
idea? This is a big number. I'm happy for it.
Yeah,
I mean, it's kind of offsetting our low budget number on the new service contracts, but, and then same thing on the sewer side. Where's that, 300?
Scott, do you go
$320,000?
off you get to see the detailed reports?
So entrance fees or something from a project?
If you want, I
I'm seeing it
can-
on that, I'll have to get that information.
It's miscellaneous revenue on both sides. I mean, we
Yeah.
brought in a ton of
It's
money.
huge, yeah.
What does that represent?
I can break those down for the next report.
Okay. Anyone else on revenues? Looks good to me. The next item is production of water.
Trend's still going, huh?
Yep.
So on the leak side, you said there's some consulting work needs to be done to find out the leaks.
Yes, we looked at 3 different consultants. 2 of them were not able to provide a quote because they're just too busy. The third one has, and we have that in hand now.
Did they have started working?
No, they're not started working yet.
Okay.
We're going through the process of getting them started.
Okay. So the last meeting we asked, like, you know, there may be leaks
Yeah.
somewhere, so we should find out as soon as possible instead
No.
of.
In the
Just-
past, when we've had a major leak, you'd have a problem of not being able to fill the tanks. That's not the case in this, so if there is
No.
a leak,
There's also more to it. It's not just a potential leak or leaks. It's also a requirement of the Mass DEP that we conduct a comprehensive survey. of the
no,
entire
I
system
understand
for
that,
years.
but, I mean, one of the issues has been brought up, I don't know whether it was Rick or you, that we may have a leak that's undiscovered, which,
Right.
you know, can happen if it's not on a street or whatever.
Right.
But in the past, we've had, if there've been a substantial amount, you know, you say, well, how come we can't keep the tanks at normal, operating at normal levels?
We have.
Water's going out that we don't know where.
We've done that several times in the past where we've come out and had them not just start from end to end, but, you know, find where it is. You know, they'll spot check, they'll locate and say, okay, you've got something going on here, and we repair it. But this is more detailed. This is
Right.
going to be every street, every service.
Yeah.
Why don't you describe how, what the diagnostic methodology is? What do they do?
It's basically a listening technique where they'll put a microphone on the ground, they'll listen, it's amplified, and they'll do correlation to find out where it is. Where they'll try to, they hear it and they'll pinpoint exactly where it is. They can pretty much get right on top of where it is, even a small leak.
Well, it's not, they know the diameter of the pipe and the locations, so they're looking for,
They don't know the
sound
diameter of the
based
pipe,
on-
but they ask us. What they do is, we have somebody that goes with them who has extensive knowledge of the system, and they can say, okay, you're over, 12-inch line, 8-inch, 6-inch. They can tell the details of the system they need. This is a dead end, whatever they need to know.
because, yeah, the sounds would be different on a dead end and a cul-de-sac versus on...
Yeah, we don't just send them out there blind. We assist them.
Okay, and what do you get back as your data? What do they present?
They generate a report.
With a map and,
Locations, gallons per minute leaks, what they expect from that. If that's something you want to see, I can give you a past one. that we
Yeah.
haven't yet.
maybe the next meeting you could bring.
Sure.
So there's we say unaccounted water, that's water that wasn't paid.
It's water that we don't know where it went. So that could be a lot of things. It could be somebody opening a hydrant in the system, whether it's a contractor, or it could be a lot of different things. For some reason, the numbers we have, when we add all our meters up, it's a lower number than we actually produced. And then you gotta, after you find out why, you can say, okay, we don't meter the street sweeper, but we know that it went out 400 times, they had, one load this day, they keep a lot. To this day, the volume of the tank, and all that can be calculated without being metered. And that's when you start comparing those, you want those to be less than 10%.
Okay, yeah, so I guess what I'm getting at, from a budgetary point of view, the unaccounted water is X. A subset of X is the water that's due to leaks.
Well, it could be leaks. It could be
Well, no, but I'm just saying, leaks is one
It's one component.
category, but there are other categories.
Hydrant flushing, street sweepers, hydroseeders, contractors.
But those things are metered. I mean, if
It's supposed to be.
well, I mean, if we're doing flushing hydrants, we're metering, even though we're not selling it to anybody, it is accounted for water. Unaccounted for is water that we pumped it, we have no idea where it went, and, in the long time ago, we were at 20%, every, take 5 gallons, one of them, we couldn't tell, and the state is looking for, in our water management, a good number is 10% or less. They understand that fires, we don't don't start fighting the fire, we gotta hook up,
Right.
meters or whatever. They recognize that, or you hit a hydrant and water starts spurting out
Right.
and,
But also, when you're flushing fire hydrants, you don't always have a meter on it. If you're on the side port and you're flushing at a lower rate, you can put a meter on it.
Yeah.
The only concern there is having debris getting into the meter. There's other ways to do it. We can use what's called a pitot gauge. And even if you're using the steamer port, the large port in the
Yeah.
front, you can pitot it, get how many gallons a minute it's flowing at, and then say I ran it for 35 minutes, 40 minutes, 45 minutes, whatever it is, and do a calculation.
the key is the state wants to know how much of your water, you're pumping it up and you're wasting it.
Right.
They understand that there are things that happen, they just don't want you to, I don't know, we don't know where it went, and, well, then stop wasting water.
Yeah, it's called a confidently estimated number. When you do add all those things up, like the trucks and the contractors and the hydrants, and that comes off the number that you have for me to use.
Scott, you're talking about the technology. Now, you said they're using hydrophones, right?
They're listening electronically, yes.
Okay. Have they done pedometer surveys yet?
I don't know.
Well, that would give you very good information. Could you find out?
Sure.
Because that might be something that we should do. A pedometer survey would take the entire town and check the flow in that town against what they know, like you said, and they would determine mathematically the difference.
And it's,
So a pedometer survey, I did one
Yeah.
once, so that's why I know this thing works. And it's a technology that's been around for 100 years. And it's labor intensive, but usually contractors do it. But if we're worried, right now, what do you estimate the unaccounted for water is?
11.2%.
Okay. And you think we should get down to under 10?
well, if we don't get under 10,
Right.
the water management withdrawal permit says you do that twice in a row, your outside watering will be down to 1 day a week. So
Exactly.
it is important that we, there's two keys, 65 gallons per day per person, and the unaccounted for water being 10% or less.
Okay, you probably should find out about a pedometer survey.
Sure.
Okay? If you need any more information, call me. I'll give you the information.
Absolutely.
So that's a conundrum too for the public. Basically, didn't we receive an award for conservation, Scott, recently?
We don't have an award for conservation. We have a conservation program. As part of our water
Yeah.
management act permit, we're required to do conservation, public outreach, and we're doing that now. I don't know if you've seen the Hometown Weekly, it was just in the last episode.
Yeah.
They've done things on Twitter for social media, we've been in the schools educating. So we do have a conservation program, but we don't have a conservation award.
Well, we did win an award.
For the sanitary survey that the state does.
Compliance.
It wasn't an award, we just had our sanitary survey,
Yeah,
and right now that report's being generated. In fact, I was talking to the gentleman at the DP today.
yeah.
They need one more piece of information from us, and that report will come up to us, and we'll have it. But it's not an award, it's something they do every 3 years.
No, I know you have to do it, but there is some, I mean, it's posted up on the second floor, I believe.
We've
on
had
the board.
fluoridation awards before.
I think it was a compliance award we got last spring.
Yeah,
Yeah, what does that
Yes.
mean, the compliance of what?
With all the Mass DEP regulations. So we were in compliance with all the standards.
Well, that's what I'm talking about.
It means, it basically
Their,
means
their activity is basically water use and conservation and management.
Well, I think
so-
from a quality standpoint, that would.
it means we didn't get caught doing anything wrong, which we don't do. It
Well, you're
means that
good,
we did
Scott.
everything right. If we did something wrong, we wouldn't have got the award, and we didn't do anything wrong.
yes.
And for the people at home, the irony with this water withdrawal permit is they have power over us. The nanny state really controls our water. We can't pump all the water we want. We have to pump what they'll allow us to. And they have some misunderstandings. They think that we have a lot of excess unaccounted for water and we're not conserving, which is not true. As Scott says, we're very compliant. And unfortunately, they recently reduced our withdrawal amount from, I think it was 3.4 to 2.78 or something like that. I'm disappointed in that because they didn't account for the fact that Walpole has a number of new buildings and projects and new residences. And also, I think back to, not in recent times, that the state came to us, the same Commonwealth of Massachusetts, and begged Walpole to take Siemens Company and give them a $20 million TIF of tax relief to come to Walpole. And as you know, they're their biggest water user. They use a ton of water.
That's right.
And you'd think that the state, in gratitude for that, wouldn't be reducing our withdrawal of water. So I'm disappointed, and I think maybe someday we have to lecture them about what the right thing to do as far as the policies with Walpole water withdrawal permit. We'll deal with that tonight, but maybe in the future. Anyone else have anything on production? Is that it?
Excuse me.
So let's see, what do we have?
This is
Low-income housing.
Yeah, can I say something on that? I'm all in favor of something like that, but we probably, sometimes the devil's in the details. And I'd like, maybe see this gentleman here, Ed Kiley.
I tried to
maybe
call
should-
him, but-
What's his name?
I tried to call him, he wasn't in, but
Cole, maybe he could come and give us a brief explanation of what's going on.
We can speak with him.
I think he'd like to come and tell us, and maybe some of the Council on Aging would like to come to that meeting, and we could arrange something,
We'll speak with him.
okay?
the
Because that
funding
sounds
is,
like it could be a nice program.
the funding is, because I read much of the information they had, and it's not that the individual resident gets and the amount, it would be the system would get it. Now, you would hope
But
that
it's
they would make use of it to...
But it's
help.
reflective.
Yeah,
You understand that?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Anyone else have anything on that particular item? All right, then the next topic is our generic discussion on Jarvis Farm.
And I'd like just to find out from administration, what's the progress, and what's happening?
Since the last meeting, we're still waiting for the survey.
And what about the grants? There was a hint of, we might be able to get some money. How's that working out?
Like I said, since the last meeting, there's nothing that's changed.
Nothing's changed?
Not since the last meeting, no.
Okay, there's no information whatsoever?
There's nothing new to present.
That doesn't sound good. Yes, so-
Do you have anything?
No, that's
Bill, you all set on Jarvis Farm?
I am.
How about the parking lot? You had anything, Jeff?
Just next time, I know we met with Brendan about the building, so Brendan from
Recreation.
Jack, he did, as part of their master plan, they've got a list of the cabins that they want to save. We took a look at the ones that they want to get rid of, and most of them are junk, like, they won't even, so I think for next meeting, we should just talk to Brendan, make sure that the numbers that we have on the cabins, and then we can make a motion to declare them surplus next time.
Okay.
Is it worth having him come over here with a map and show us?
Yeah, you could, if he's available.
Come and bring a few pictures and a map, little
Yeah.
He
sketch.
provided us with a map as well.
He's got a map of them, I think I've got the digital.
Maybe that's something we can blow up bigger or something.
Yeah,
So try to see Brendan in the next meeting.
yeah.
That's good. Yeah, any thoughts? I keep thinking about what Pradeep said about the solar, about a canopy down there in the parking lot. It's not a bad idea.
so yeah, we're looking for parking there, so it's better to add solar.
Yeah.
School board has already done for a few of their parking lots, and save our electricity bill also.
Yeah.
hopefully.
Maybe we should get in touch with this Corsage. They seem to have a way with the town of Walpole. Okay. And then the last item is, well, not the last item, but meter to cash.
Any updates? You have any issues with the?
No issues.
Okay, it's fine.
Okay, I did get a memo from Rick about, Patrick, one of your issues about the interviewing the secretary candidates. He said that to answer your questions, I would have to file a Freedom of Information Act with the government.
Did he send you a email on that? Could I see the email, please? Could you forward that to me?
I'll forward it to you,
Or
yeah.
to all of us, actually?
But I'm
That
just
would be
wondering, do you
fine.
want to authorize, you want the board authorize me to do that, or do you want to wait and
Well,
discuss it?
if that's what, if it said that he would not, if he disobeyed our direct order and said that he would not do it and we had to file a Freedom of Admission Act, if that's what it really said, then we should definitely go ahead. And we'd also, we need to talk, send that, copy of that email to the Attorney General. I mean, this Freedom of Information Act wasn't designed to be a method of, limiting transparency to another, to an elected, especially to an elected board.
I've
So-
never done that before. I don't, but I mean, I could look into, ask the clerk how to do it. but
Well-
I wouldn't do it without the authorization of the board, because I wasn't
Well, I'd
expecting...
like to see
that.
the email first to
Okay.
make sure
All right,
what it says, and if, then I'll give you my vote next meeting. How's that?
okay. All right, any other old business or, Bill?
I think we should schedule our annual rate hearing for the
Yeah.
first meeting in June.
Yeah.
So Robert, if you could investigate, I'm not sure if the...
See, what's the date, what would be the date on that?
I think the 12th would be
12th?
the second meeting in, the second Monday in June.
June 12th, probably have a,
What's that for, the
you want a
Annual
reorg...
rate hearing.
rate
You
hearing?
probably have a reorganization in that meeting, too.
Yes, that would be after the election. But
And our next meeting, I would suggest we have the meeting earlier. I don't know if Pradeep, do you, are you able to get back here
No, I'm fine.
4:30, 5 o'clock? Could you?
What,
Well, there's they schedule the debates, the candidacy for yourself
Oh, on
and
the
me on the
22nd.
22nd, the same night,
yeah,
at the same
yeah.
time
Yeah.
as our meeting. So I would think we'd have to have a briefer meeting and have it before that, which means it would probably be at 4:30 or 5 o'clock. I would say 4:30, but if you wanted to do 5 o'clock, we'd
Is this
probably...
the League for Women Voters?
yeah,
Yeah, it actually starts at 6:30, so I think if we did
yeah.
4:30 and gave an hour or so here, we could get out of here and conduct some
I'm
business.
just saying, I think it's a good idea, but I might not be able to make this because I just found out one of my granddaughters is graduating from college, and the festivities go into that time. So, just to let you know. that.
Sure.
But I think that's
Throw it out there
a
on
good thing
Monday
to
night,
move it.
21st.
What's that?
Move it to Monday night, the 21st. Let people that meet on Monday night, it's Board of Assessors, I think. Nothing else going on, right?
That's 21st is Sunday.
May 21st. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, they're on the Monday. they're on-
23rd, I meant to
Yeah.
say the 23rd, Tuesday.
Or we could do that too, if you'd want to meet on the Tuesday, we could do that. Is that preferable?
So, what meeting, is this our regular?
Sewer and water,
Second meeting in,
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Instead of Monday, we do it Tuesday,
Yeah.
so we don't have a conflict with the town on with the election thing.
That's fine with me.
Tuesday?
Any idea what, like, agenda-wise, how,
We don't have a lot right now.
right now, we don't have a lot?
Well, we're going to get some feedback on from our consultant and a few other things, tidy up. Get Brendan in here, that's a good visit, et cetera. All right, I'll move that we change our 6:30 meeting to Tuesday evening, the 23rd, from the 22nd,
To 6:30.
6:30.
Okay. I'll second that.
Okay,
Did you
moved
make
and
a
seconded. Thank you. Any discussion?
all right. So the 22nd, we'll just go to the League of Women Voters.
Right.
All right.
Okay, no discussion. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? 500. All right,
So, public hearing is gonna be June 12th. That's what we're talking about?
Yes.
Yeah.
yeah, we do have some things, Scott, if you, what that came up, that we'll get Brendan in here, we'll get some of these other questions answered, things that are missing, et cetera. Okay?
Good.
Motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
Okay, moved and
Seconded.
seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
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 500, thank you. Good evening. Take care.